You don't just sit and wait for a laugh. You get a subject, you have to have a point of view on it, take a position, and with cartooning, most positions are negative. You can't be funny about praising things. What's funny? What's funny is you take something that's real, you flip it, and you make it more real, or you take a cliche that's become stupid. It's that message underneath, and you find the laugh, and you doodle. You just doodle until you get it. Cartooning, as in writing, I think is revision. Revision is everything. You'd read a newspaper, something, take a line, just take the line verbatim. And even after you get everything, you write the line sometimes 20, 30 times. You know, one word doesn't quite have a flow, but another one can just make it explode. Now we're dealing with another religion and that, and you're cautious. 100 people bombed in a restaurant. Yeah, make a joke.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know. After 9/11, you know, I tried moolah jokes. That stuff. Yeah. But you know, that's difficult. It's how that philosophy affects the daily life of people in the modern world of how it's going. Who's got to adapt? From a cartoonist standpoint, how does it affect these people? Like we hear of Iranian women who want to have personal freedom. And I've been told by an airline pilot, they get on the plane with traditional garb and they get off the plane in miniskirt and lipstick. There's the area for the humor. When I left Chenard Art Institute, I needed a job. I had taken a course in set decoration, storyboard, set drawing, camera angle, and after 2-3 months, the whole studio went on strike. Hollywood was in a big turmoil. Then I still needed a job, so I went to Disney. Luckily, they took me in the story department, and I worked 2.5 years very happily.
And you know, he was a young, essentially country person in Los Angeles in the midst of a time when animation, the Disney experience was happening. It was a big deal to him.
What I had started when I was in art school was accumulating. And after 2 years, when I was at Disney, I got a phone call from Dave Smart, the publisher. He said, I know you're at Disney, so if I double your salary, would you come with us as a gag man and a cartoonist? And I said immediately. When Esquire came out, it was something, because they had full-page color cartoons. They were adult. That's why I never could sell Colliers or Saturday Boys. It's all this home life, domestic, husbands, dumb husbands, and mean wives, and kids. I don't know. I didn't relate to that.
He'd started with the New Yorker in either late 49 or 50, and his cartoons were evolving and becoming more mature.
It was the publisher, Dave Smart, said, you know, you ought to try the New Yorker. He said, I think you could sell there. So on his instigation, I thought the New Yorker was, you know, so far above me in paradise I couldn't make it. But, you know, after about 3 submissions, I sold one. I thought it was a fluke. And I didn't send for about 8 months. And I got a note from the cartoon editor, James Garrity. And he said, after we bought one of your drawings, we thought the least you could do is to keep contributing. God, I almost blushed to myself. And I've been sending ever since, you know, 55 years. New Yorker saw that I wasn't a one-joke person, you know. I may have a lot of bad jokes, but if you stick around, you're going to get a good one.
It's that everyday act of doing it that secures his place in the history of cartooning and the history of art. I watch my students, the first thing I tell them is, you're not going to make a masterpiece, so don't worry about it. The Louvre isn't waiting for you, just get on with your work and do it, and then something happens, it happens. And for Eldon, these things aren't questions. These things are not even there. He's going to get up and be funny. He's going to draw the roughs, send the roughs out, accepted or not accepted. The accepted ones, he's got to do the finished product. It's a job, and he does it.
Yeah, one time in the 70s, I just looked, somebody came into the house and they pointed out to me, boy, he subscribes to a lot of things. And I counted them up, and there were 26 different publications that came into that house.
How many magazines can you get in a house? How much information can you put into your head to have those gags come out? Because you got to feed the brain to put them out, and he's constantly feeding his brain. But the big file's in here, right? And that's the file that's got to be funny.
My father has a filing system that works for him. You name it, there's a file for it.
I'd read subjects that I knew nothing about, and often get an idea out of it. If you read between the lines, it all comes down to humanity, suffering, the irony of people, the stupidity of them. You can find it on any page of any magazine, newspaper. Just be open to the subject and what their concerns are. You know, I'm not one to psychoanalyze myself and deconstruct everything and ruin it. I've often said I don't know how I became a cartoonist or had a sense of humor. I always felt if I analyzed it too far, I might lose it. If you want wrong answers, just start thinking too much.
He began in the 40s going to little dive clubs in Los Angeles where there were musicians, African Americans who played jazz. And when he came to Monterey, that was continuing because the Monterey Jazz Festival was beginning, and after that he would invite people to our house. You'd have black, white, all these different people that would come in to hear their viewpoint on life, their take on life, and to begin to incorporate that into your own world.
Turk Murphy was in the band. Bob Scobie, called the Dawn Club. Oh, I thought that was wonderful. But then we went to the Black Hawk. Miles Davis played, Oscar Peterson, Dave Brubeck, Jerry Mulligan. Yeah, Mulligan was around San Francisco, Fantasy Records.
I think with Duke Ellington.
So he went up, introduced himself, get some pictures, fine. And he said, Eldon here does a lot of jazz cartoons, which I did. He said he did one on your band, which I did. He said it appeared in Colliers. And Ellington kind of looked, and he reached in his wallet. He takes out, you know how people sit on their wallet, everything gets kind of stuck, and he was fooling there, and he took out a piece of paper and unfolded it. It was my cartoon. That's like coming full circle. You do things, but you never know what happens. Man, here's a guy that not only saw it, put it in his pocket and saved it.